space, the last remnants of the unexplored. A never-ending expanse of darkness. Here, at the edge of the universe, I look into the abyss and...
Batman!
I look into the abyss.
Bruce!
Seriously?
Is that a new spacesuit? Your suit looks really good, is all I'm saying. One hero to another. It's really working for you. Sorry, right. Brooding. Carry on.
This is Christian from Gamereactor Germany. I'm in London together with Stephen, and we'll be talking about the new Lego game that you'll be making. Can you give us a brief introduction of what it'll be like?
Yes, so Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. The clue's in the title, really. We're leaving Gotham City behind to some extent. So Batman and Robin, they fought crimes and villains in Gotham City before in Lego Batman 1 and Lego Batman 2. We've now got a new original standalone story that does actually follow on from Lego Batman 2, but you can pick it up and play it even if you're a newcomer to Lego Batman games. So Batman and Robin, they're going up into space. They're going to explore new parts of the DC universe that we've never seen or shown before in a Lego Batman game. We're going to see new characters. We're going to have more of a Justice League of America feel to it. So they're going to team up with those guys. And they're also, quite surprisingly, going to work a bit reluctantly with some of the villains as well, some of the headline villains that we've seen before in Lego Batman games, and also a couple of new ones.
Can you explain a little about how the new features will turn out into new gameplay? Because we saw Batman having new suits, we saw the villains have new suits as well.
Yeah. So in Lego Batman 3, we've decided to move on from what we call suit signals that were used in Lego Batman 1 and 2. These suit signals were the pads that you could stand on and change between specific different suits, and we felt that it was time to move away from that quite restrictive feeling of gameplay. So, and it was always the driving point, and you always felt a little bit limited in what Batman and Robin could do when you think about it. So, moving on from that, we wanted the series to evolve into something really dynamic, really very Bat-tastic, if you will. So we came up with the idea of these suit wheels. So, whereas previously in Lego Batman 2, for instance, Batman would go and change to a specific suit, and then he would go and do the puzzle. Now, once you've unlocked one of Batman's suits, or any of them, you can then change to them at any point in time in any part of the game. So it gives you a real freedom, a lot more freedom to explore different parts of the game, and just get a really cool dynamic feel for gameplay. And obviously, as well as Batman having this, Robin wouldn't be Robin without his selection of suits. And then, as you say, yeah, there are 2 or 3 other characters in there that also do have the same suit wheel functionality. So we saw Cyborg in the demo earlier. He obviously has some really cool, quirky things, so he can turn into the Lego big figure version of himself, where it's kind of cool transformation on him. You can also turn into really comical objects like a washing machine, for example, but he's still got his laser vision coming out of the on switch on the washing machine. And then as well as that, he's got the ability to fly, which is something that he shares with Batman. It's a new suit for Batman. We're going into space. Batman's going to need a super cool space suit that's like nothing you've ever seen before. So again, we saw earlier on, Batman can take this spacesuit and he can then have full flight. So again, it's something new that we've never done before in a Lego Batman game, giving Batman the ability to fly.
That made me wondering. It's really opening up the game because you were limited to the ground. You could sort of only walk around and access certain areas. Is it now that with Batman in a spacesuit, in a fly suit, that he can access the whole world without really having to solve puzzles?
There are still going to be puzzles in there because Lego games and Lego Batman games in particular wouldn't be where they are without puzzles, without the really cool Lego puzzles that we always put in our games. But yeah, it's the idea of creating freedom for Batman. So we don't want to make him feel restricted anymore. We want him to have the full freedom of this game. This is Batman we're talking about here. It's about time that he got something like a spacesuit so that he could fly up into space. He can go to the Watchtower. He can fly around the Watchtower as we saw earlier on. It just gives him full freedom to explore.
There is also the new vehicles you have in the game. Batman has a really cool spaceship by himself, and we saw him playing in a level, flying around a space station, which personally reminded me a lot of Resogun. Is that something that came into your mind, like making or giving kids the ability to learn for a bigger game, a bigger task?
To be honest, the idea behind the space shooters really was first and foremost, we wanted to try something different. Like a lot of things in Lego Batman 3, we wanted to try something different with Batman. We've seen before in Lego Batman 1, we've had the Batwing flying around the skyscrapers of Gotham. We've had in Lego Batman 2, the Batmobile driving around the streets, chasing after Lex Luthor's big truck. In this one, we wanted it's in space, and we wanted to create some really epic and amazing spectacles in these space battles. So obviously we saw earlier that you're in the Bat Rocket and Robin's in his cool little Robin pod ship flying around the Watchtower, shooting down loads of Joker enemies, the Chattering Teeth and the Joker missiles and the bombs. We really, first and foremost, just wanted to create something that anybody can pick up and play. So you've got a little 6-year-old boy or girl, but we also wanted to make it adaptable so that anyone of any age can just pick up and have fun with these Lego games, Lego Batman games in particular, because that's what they're all about. And we felt like it was a really good fit to go with this fast and furious and frantic shooty gameplay where you're just flying around space and shooting down loads and loads of enemies, loads of stuff's going on. It really gives a sense of drama and chaos whilst also being incredibly easy and fun to pick up and play.
Can you explain a little about the role of the villains? Because it seemed we not only play against them, but we sort of have to play with them at some points. I mean, Joker is not always the best guy to be around with, really.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a little bit of a weird one, Joker, but it was only a matter of time before the villains kind of wound themselves. They have such kooky and weird plots to take over Gotham or with Lex Luthor become president. And it always backfires, and it was only a matter of time before one of these plans was going to backfire, and they were going to land themselves in such a situation where there's an even greater threat coming, and it's not just coming for a city, it's coming for the Earth. And in Brainiac, who is the overarching enemy and bad guy of this game, the villains they reluctantly realise that if the Earth was to be lost, if Gotham City was to be lost, where would Joker play? How would Lex Luthor campaign to be president without Metropolis or without taking his campaign to Gotham? And when the Earth's at risk, the villains kind of reluctantly have to just say, okay, we're going to have to do this.
There's one thing that was or looked pretty new was the VR missions that you jump into. Can you give us a little explanation about that? It did remind me of Metal Gear Solid. Again, something completely else that is blended into the franchise.
Yeah, I mean the virtual reality missions, or the VR missions as we call them, they really came about because we wanted to. We found that we wanted to find something that broke up the gameplay in the similar ways to the new vehicle levels do. We wanted to find something that would take the player by surprise a little bit, drop them in this really cool computery world where they have to make their way around a maze or go across platforming, and or even go across a huge wave of the VR grid that's just going up and down, and you have to avoid the drop. The inspiration behind it really did come from wanting to give the player something new and fresh. We wanted the player to feel like they are training like Batman. So Batman's got all these cool gadgets and stuff. How does he train? Well, he uses computer systems and he uses virtual reality. We've seen it before in other iterations of Batman, and we wanted to share some of that with effectively our target audience, really. So,
is there a reason why the VR blocks are not Lego bricks at all?
The VR blocks are not Lego bricks because generally, in Lego Batman games and Lego games in general, it's Lego takes sort of like center stage when it's something that you can interact with. So obviously we saw in the VR level that we showed earlier, there were Lego cubes, Lego boxes in the VR world that you could punch and interact with, but the actual grid wasn't Lego simply for that reason, because otherwise we feel that it would become very confusing to the player. It's the same rule for us as in a normal stereotypical level where the backdrop and the environment is not Lego, but the things that you can interact with are Lego. It really calls out what you need to do a lot more.
there's one last thing that we kept talking about internally is like making Lego games obviously is sort of the same task over and over again, trying to find new angles on the thing. Is there something that you would want to do in terms of a Lego game? Let's say Lego Mortal Kombat, killing people.
I think Lego Mortal Kombat might be a step too far. For me, I've had a great privilege to work on now 3 Lego Batman games. Batman is a huge thing for me and for the team, and we're all incredibly passionate about it. So yeah, it's really, our focus really isn't really on about wouldn't it be great if we did this. It's about the here and now, and Lego Batman 3 is definitely the here and now for us, and we're all, as I say, incredibly passionate about making this game the most memorable of the series.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
I look into the abyss.
No, he's right. It really complements your figure.
Uh-huh. Meh, should have stuck with black. Or maybe a really dark gray.